Hi guys, welcome to the first video on the cooking channel. I'm going to show you how to make a cottage pie. So, pretty simple. You just need an amount of potatoes, a couple of onions, a carrot or two, depends on how much you like carrots. You can add other veg in, like celery and stuff like that, but it's not really. I've got my Worcester Sauce, that'll give us a lot of flavour to the meat. Got milk, butter, to help with the mash, and we've got our 5% lean Steak Mince. You can use whatever percent. You want to get a little peeler and start peeling the potatoes. While we're peeling these, I'm just going to pop the kettle on so it peels up, so we can use it to boil our potatoes. I did this, excuse the noise, I did this for years where I would boil my potatoes from cold and it would take about anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes for them to cook. But if you use a kettle to pre-boil your water, it pretty much cuts your cooking time, or your boiling time down in half. You want to cut them into decent size sort of pieces. So probably half, half, and half again. Half, half, half again. Give them a good wash. Get all in there. Mix it up. So now we just put that back on here. The kettle's boiling away, and you want to start cutting some veg now. I should move that way. I'll peel my carrot. Again, you don't need carrot in it, but if you want to put carrot in it, it's great. Yeah, it's really one of those. If you want to put a veg in it, as long as it's nothing like wild, you can pretty much do it. Just chop the end off, and again, chop it however you like. It really doesn't matter. Kettle's boiling up. The kettle's just gone. Pour it in, so it covers all of our potatoes. Potentially could have done this in a bigger pan, but it'll be fine. And now just put the heat on. So I've got the heat on, probably about, you can see the flame, about that sort of flame, about halfway on the small ring, and you just leave it. It should be done in about 20 minutes. Pretty much, however you want to cut it is however you want to cut it. I prefer going down the middle, so you cut it in half, and there's multiple ways. So this is how you get sort of like a dice, and it's really quite simple. So you've got it flat down there, and keep your fingers away, and you want to just cut little strips in it. And just cut little strips in it, while not going all the way through, so you keep the onion. It will try and jump. Keep the onion whole. Then, when you've got your dices there, you want to get lower down, sideways, and about a third of the way up, just start cutting into it a bit there. This is a bit fiddly, but you just kind of work at it and you'll still get it. And you want to work in there. You don't need to go all the way, you really don't. And then on this side, you can see the dice already starting to spill out. Then you just go down, and you'll see you might lose the top layer, like it might not want to cut, so that's fine. And be wary of your fingers at this point. And you see that? Perfect dice. And then I want to come down. The coming down shouldn't be like a really manual task. I've got a bit of a big knife, but I'm holding it and I'm pushing it here. I'm pushing it here. So I'm putting my weight into the bottom of the knife. And it's just, it might fall to pieces, it's fine. Just mind your fingers and just continue cutting. I didn't get out my beef stock cubes. So you want the beef stock, we've still got a bit left in the kettle. So I'm going to get like a Pyrex dish, or I used to use a bloody Sports Direct mug. And you want to get your cube. And you can tell it's been warmed, because it's already getting a bit like this. And I wouldn't go heavy on this, I'd probably just use one. So all you do, take it out the wrapper. So will it just plop in? Might not. kind of plop it in. And you can use a whisk, you can use a fork, just to show how easy it is. I'm just going to use a fork. Take your kettle water. It's kind of like a, well, it says to use a 450 ml of, it's 450 ml, so we'll go with that. 450 ml per 1 cube, that's fine. That's about that. Because it's not meant to be like a, gravy. It's meant to be more of just a, it's more of a stock. It is a stock. So you more just want like the beef flavourings rather than just like a thick gravy. So take a big pan. Because I'm doing a big size portion, but you've got a smaller pan. You're doing like a portion for one. That's fine. So I'm going to turn the heat on. I'm using this on my big ring, and I'll put it about halfway. That's about halfway for me. And don't go too heavy on the oil, because even if you've got 5% beef mince, a bit of fat will come out. So I just kind of go a bit like that. Probably a couple tablespoons, that is. And you just sort of let that, I'm going to try and coat the bottom of the pan. And you just kind of let that heat up for a bit. You know when it's properly heating up, not when it's smoking. If it's smoking, you've gone too far. When I do that, it just starts effortlessly moving, almost like water. That's what you want. So this is starting to heat up now. It's starting to move around a bit more effortlessly now, so I'm going to put the beef in. So a soft or wooden spoon. If you've got non-stick pans, don't use metal on it. And you want to just keep sort of moving this around, because it will start browning kind of quick. If you're using a higher fat mince, and because it's only 5% mince, and look at how much just come out, it's absolutely fine if you want to drain it. So I'm going to, just to get rid of all the excess stuff. So I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit, and going to put in our veg. And once it's in, I just stood on a bit of carrot. Just mix it all in. Okay, wonderful. So, at this point, you'll get our Worcester sauce. You can measure it out, but just kind of, well, I just kind of go around and just make sure everything has a bloody good, because I like this sort of quite strong. So I put in quite a bit. If you want just a hint of it, you can put in a bit less, but I absolutely love Worcester sauce. You want to make sure just nothing starts sticking. If stuff starts sticking, just turn your heat down just a little bit like I have. Just a little bit. And I think now we will add our chicken stock. Beef stock. So just get it and just sort of evenly pour it around. It might seem like a lot, but it will cook down. It will cook down, so you just kind of mix that sort of all in. And what you can do now is you can put your gravy granules in, because just give it an extra sort of a bit of just a stronger beef flavour, but it will also help thicken up the beef stock. Again, you can measure it out, but I'm just going to eyeball this. I just want to give quite a bit, because I quite like because what happens is will juice down, the water will come out of it, and it'll get kind of thick. And I like the sort of beef sauce, if you will, really quite thick. But again, it's personal preference. You can sort of customise this how you want. Like, I'm kind of bare bones on the veg, but you can put all sorts of veg in here. Potatoes are still going. Best way to check if your potatoes are ready, just get sort of a knife, just got quite a bit of a pointed end, and you want to just try and find the thickest potato, the thickest chunk even. So I'm going to try and find a piece there. So what you want to happen is, if it's not cooked, you'll press into the potato, you'll lift it up, and it'll stay on your knife. So that's not done yet. What you want it to do is you want to press it in, lift it up, and it doesn't even stick to the knife. Then you know it's ready. So at this point now, I want to just reduce the heat on here. So it's quite a bit lower. Reduce the heat on here. And now I want to sort of reduce the heat on there, put a lid on it. Put a lid on it, turn the heat right down just so it simmers. And now we are just waiting on the potatoes. So let's check our potatoes now. I'll check that one. See, it's breaking apart. That one's not even staying on the knife. Breaking apart. Not even staying on the knife. Cool. So what we need to do now is turn the heat off. And you'll need a colander set up in your sink. Don't use your hands at all. So you want to take your pan, mind out for dropping it. Over to your colander. I'm going to move the camera out of the way because this is a big thing of steam. And tip it into your colander. Put your pan down on the side. And give your colander a bit of a shake just to get the excess bits of water off. Put it back in your pan. Colander can go back in the sink. So you have your potatoes. So there's for me there's a particular order that I do this. Is I'll put this whatever bit of salt in I want, and that salt's not plain. It's getting kind of humid in here. So I'd get my salt that I want. Put it in my hand just so I don't overdo it with the open top, and sort of sprinkle it with salt, put salt bait if you want. That in the bin. So I always put the milk in last. So you put your salt in, put however much butter you want. I like quite a bit of butter. So I'll probably do 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. Oh, sorry, a bit loud. Put that in the sink. And milk, it is really easy to overdo milk with mash. So I would probably say less is more, less is better. So if you only put a little bit in and it's still a bit stodgy, you can put more milk in. But you kind of have to just learn this over time. So you can put a bit of milk in, put that down, and we start mashing. It might take a couple. Like, it might take a minute or so for it to start taking shape. It might look like it's a bit too soft or a bit too hard. But sort of the technique I use just to make sure there's like not that many lumps is, it might help because I've got a round masher and a round pan, is touch the edges. And I just go around the edges all the time. Just so I'm not missing bits of potatoes that get pushed to the side. And this is not meant to be perfectly smooth. I hate it when I see TV chefs doing mashed potatoes and they basically make a puree out of it. They'll do similar to what I do now, but then they put it through basically a sieve, and it just takes all the texture out of it. It makes it look like goop. Right, so this is the texture you want. You want nice, fluffy mash. So you can try it. Get a spoon. So for me, if I've got mash and it doesn't immediately fall off the spoon, let's try it. Oh, that's fantastic. You want a bit of texture to it, so you want it to stick a little bit. So I'm going to take the lid off that. Big thing of steam. Just look at that. This will smell absolutely incredible. Look at that. Oh, I should have put some peas in. I like a big fan of peas. So your mash is on there on the side. So get some sort of device, some sort of vessel to transport your food, and you want to just start layering it on the bottom. Try and layer it as evenly as you can. just so it sort of cooks evenly, because we are putting this in the oven as well. Tilt your pan if it's to make it a bit easier. Look at it, that looks fantastic. It smells amazing too. And if to a point you want to just, yeah, I'm using a metal utensil on my pan, but it's my pan, I ruined it ages ago. Definitely take care of your pans, I wish I'd learned that earlier. And then you sort of just spread it out so it's kind of nice and even. So you want to get your mash, and you just want to sort of place it on top. I do not think I've made enough mash, but you'll see. It's getting a little close to the edge, so we'll see if that bubbles over in the oven. And this is the pie bit. At this point, if you were to add cheese, you can add cheese. I'm going to open my preheated oven. Well, put it in there until you start getting sort of a crispy brown texture on the top. If you've got cheese, you'll get that a bit sooner. So yeah, don't touch it, but just keep checking on it. I'd probably say it's around 20 minutes, but that you're done at this point. All you're leaving it to do is just cook 20 minutes, tidy up, have a beer, do something, and we'll come back when it's ready. This is our end result. Your cheese on top is going to crust it a little bit more, but you can sort of hear and see that it's crusted. I don't believe it's actually bubbled over. But this will be extremely hot, so you might want to give this a little time to cool down, or sort of carve it, if you will. So I'll get a plate, and then I'll piece it out. All right, then we've got our plate. So I just want to take a little corner of it. Yeah, this will be when it starts overflowing. Look at that. Little spoon. And that is all you want. Put that in there. So it's just a nice little bit of a crusty potato on the top, all cooked veg and beef on the inside, and it's absolutely delightful. This might be a little bit too hot for me. Let's give it a bit of a blow. Oh my god. That is absolutely fantastic. Easily to die for. So you see that, okay, it might take a little bit of time, but it don't take 2.5 hours that BBC Good Food has. And this will feed your family if you really wanted to. Maybe not a massive family, but for your family. But yeah, it's easy. Just takes a little bit of effort. So yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Might make something that maybe another British classic, or maybe something a bit more snazzy.